Good day, everyone. Today we will continue on the next topic for modern finance, which is all about compound interest. So basically, we're done discussing all about simple interest and simple discount. Now we'll be moving on to this topic, and same case with the other topics that I discussed for math and finance. We are going to still define kung ano yung compound interest, tapos ano yung mga terms that we need to familiarize with so that we'll be able to solve problems involving compound interest. So basically, ito yung definition ng ating compound interest. So yung compound interest is an interest computed every conversion period whose principal amount includes the specified interest earned every end of conversion date. So basically, it's still using the idea of interest. It's just that this is done multiple times in specific years or in every conversion date. So for this case, may nakita conversion period or number of times where our value would be compounded. So for this case, no, we have also definition of terms involving this. Moving to the other slide, sa compound interest, it can also be defined as this is an interest resulting from the periodic addition of simple interest to the principal amounts. Basically, again, meron tayong idea ng simple interest, tapos gagawin natin siya multiple times. And that would be computed depending on the principal amount first. Okay? And then resulting from the sum of the compound interest that we were able to generate from um, plus the principal, we could actually have our compound amount now. So yung compound amount, this is an accumulated amount composed of the principal and the compound interest. So para siyang future value mo. So sometimes, for problems, it would be stated kung yung problem mo, yung context is all about doing compound interest, if it is asked there that you have to find the future value, it would be our compound amount or the accumulated amount. And then we also have what you call the compounding or conversion period on periodic rate. So this refers to the number of times in a year the interest will be compounded. So that's how many times it will be compounded in a year. So for this case, since we're all about talking about, ng ating compounding period, ano now yung uh, context ng compounding periods? So that is the number of times the interest is compounded. And then sa ating problems, you would be able to notice these keywords or key terms because it would not be evidently telling you na you have to compound it one time, three times, or twice. So you have to read the problem and then find these keywords and then identify from that kung ano yung equivalent compounding period. So for this case, pag sabihin sa problem that you have to compound it annually, that means once a year. So your compounding periods, which is set up as variable m for our formula, that would be m is equal to 1. And then for compounded semi-annually, that's twice a year. So meaning you would get the compound interest after nung half nung ating year, which is if you are going to determine which month would it be or how many months would it be, that would be after 6 months because we have 12 months in a year. So basically, after 6 months, yan yung pinakaunang compounding period. And then another 6 months, after another 6 months, that would be the second compounding period. That's why our M there for semi-annually would be M is equal to 2. And then we also have compounded quarterly that would be doing it 4 times a year. So if we are going to determine how many months would it be, kung sa anong month would we calculate our compound interest, that would be after 3 months. So if we have 12 months in a year and then it will be compounded 4 times, then after 3 months, we would calculate for its interest. So since there are 12 months, that would be m is equal to 4 or 4 times in a year. And then we also have compounded monthly. So kung monthly siya, we only have 12 months. So therefore, it would be compounded, yung compounding periods would be 12. And then, if it's compounded weekly, it would be 52 weeks. There are 52 weeks in a year. So you are going to compound it 52 times. And then, for our daily, it has to be 365 here. So that will be 365 days. 365 days. So, we are going to compound yung ating principal amount 365 365 times. So, basically, after every day, um, i-calculate natin yung interest. So that will be all about compounding periods. So will be useful later on. As I've told you, it is not evident on the problem how many times it will be compounded. So you have to find these keywords. And then we also had the formula that we are using for compound amount. So basically, yung compound amount natin is going to be our pinaka future value na. That is composed of our compound interest plus the principal amount. So this is the formula that we are using. So sa mga formula, actually, we have different variables that we are using. Sometimes other books would have variables for the compound amount as A. So they would have it like this, yung A is equal to ano nga yan? A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by N times NT. So basically, yung A dito is going to be this one, itong compound amount, tapos yung P is still the principal amount, and then R is the rate of interest, tapos yung N dito would be not our N, which is like this one, yung ating, and there is compounding periods times the number of year. So ito hindi, dito sa ditong case, this is going to be the compounding periods, tapos yung NT dito is going to be yung ano niya, yung N, which is the number of compounding periods times the years. So anyways, again, mathematics, we could actually use different variables as long as you know the context of how those variables are being used on the problem. You wouldn't get confused sa ating mga formula. Okay? So for this case, ito yung formula na gagamitin natin. Okay? So, yung formula na gagamitin natin is F is equal to P times 1 plus I raised to N. This is going to be the formula in calculating for the compound amount. So, yung F here is defined as the compound amount. The I is the interest per compound period. P is equal to the principal amount. M is equal to the compounding periods. And again, I here is not evident doon sa problem. Hindi ka makakapagkuha ng I doon. What you are going to do is find the I. Yung I there is equal to the annual interest rate, which is R, which is going to be evident on the problem, and then the number of compounding periods per year, which is our M. And then if you want to calculate for N, that is going to be the number of compounding periods, which is our M, times the number of years. Okay? So, supposedly, kung aton hiya i-expand, it has to be now F is equal to P times 1 plus R over M times MT. Because we know that I here is going to be R over M, and then N here is going to be equal to MT. So, bagang pare-pareho lahihadi, actually, nga iraging gagamit as well, which is A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N times NT. It's just that yung R dito is again yung annual interest rate, P here this is the principal, N here would be different because M here would be the compounding periods, N here is equal to M, and then yung ating T here will still be the number of years. Okay? So anyway, so not get confused about that. It's just being used in the same way. And then of course, we need to have problems involving this one so that we'll be able to familiarize.